Okay, Vinci suggested I look at this video, why so many women are mocking men's mental health. Sounds like a good idea because it's really just proof that women don't like men. They're hostile to men, and these women are letting us know. So let's get into this.
I don't care. Men's mental health, I don't give
It's officially men's mental health. I don't care.
So June is Men's Mental Health Month, and I didn't even know about that until last year. Evidently, I was not the only one. It's not exactly promoted with the same sort of enthusiasm or corporate sponsorship as something like Pride Month, for example.
Yeah, it's not promoted, or it's not promoted, right?
But this year, I have noticed an uptick in people discussing whether or not this is necessary. And there's this one video in particular.
You mean women, right? Women are attacking it. These women are showing us exactly how they feel, and their numbers are huge. And as she said, they're going out of their way to do this, by the way, guys, because she admitted, what's her name again? Misha Petrov, that it's not in their faces. Men's mental health is not trumpeted all over the place. So they're going out of their way to spit on men who are in dire straits, right?
That has sparked a wave of responses. This TikToker filmed herself mocking the idea of taking a moment of silence for men's mental health. And in response, many men, they brought up suicide statistics to make their point. So today I want to unpack this. Why are men's emotional struggles often treated like a punchline? Also,
Because you gals hate us. That's it. I mean, why are you asking a stupid question? You know your own gender.
why are so many reactions to this conversation on both sides so extreme? Let's begin.
Oh, did you hear that? So extreme, right? Someone punched you in the face and you punched them back. Why such an extreme response? This is more false equivalence bullshit, you see. You are no different than the women attacking us, lady.
And with the original video, and then we're going to take a look at some of the responses. So here it is, right? Me when it's time to take a moment of silence for men's mental health. And this is the response to the girl that posted that.
I'm glad the guys are actually doing something. Really, honestly. That's the first sign of self-respect I've seen in a long time.
I don't care. Okay. I really don't give a fuck.
Well, that's unfortunate because there's certainly a lot of women out there that expect all men to care about all women's issues. But yet when it comes to matters that are actually critical to the male population, there are a lot of women out there that really should stop saying that they have empathy for others because it's becoming perfectly obvious that they don't.
So people saying that they don't care with such pride, like apathy is something
But they do care. Because if they didn't care, they wouldn't make these videos. They care very much to show how much they despise us for no other reason that we're born male. They didn't give any reasons. They're just saying, hey, we hate your guts.
to brag about. It's not, right? And then this woman stitched that video, responded calmly, pointing out how so many women expect men to care deeply about women's issues, yet feel no obligation to reciprocate.
It's officially June. It's officially men's mental health. Shut the f up. I don't care.
This kind of selective
Yes, you do, because you made this video saying so. No one came to these women and asked them. They're just pissed off. They're pissed off that there's something for men at all, right?
empathy isn't just hypocritical, it's revealing, okay? It shows how conditional some people's compassion, some people's empathy really has become. I only care about you if we're on the same political team. I only care about you if we're the same gender. What is that? And to openly...
Yeah, it is a political team. It is a political... Mr. Pink and Yellow, I'm going to give him respect again. He said, women are the class enemy of men. And he's 100% right. And so, lady, you're wrong. This is a political statement.
mock mental health awareness for half the population. It's grotesque, you know? I genuinely wonder how someone gets to that point. Do they not have a single man in their lives that they care about, that cares about them? A father, a brother, a grandfather.
They have men in their lives. Like that first one, that beautiful woman there, she probably has a guy who pays her rent. Look, all the nasty feminists of the second wave, or whom I couldn't, period, have boyfriends and husbands.
Father, a friend, a teacher, anyone? Because let's be honest, in many of these cases, the people who proudly broadcast their hatred toward the opposite gender are almost always single. Maybe not 100% of the time, but enough.
I would disagree. I bet a lot of them have boyfriends and husbands. Just because you don't see them in their TikTok videos doesn't mean that they don't have them.
Enough that it's noticeable, because it's a bit hard to be in a loving, healthy relationship while hating the gender of your partner. That level
You'll notice it. You gals do it all the time. See, this is gaslighting, everyone. This is gaslighting from this woman, Petrov. Women have contempt. Wives treat their husbands like shit. And guys know it. So you are saying something that is obviously wrong, even to yourself. So you're gaslighting.
level of bitterness doesn't come from empowerment, right? From happiness. It often comes from isolation. And it's no coincidence that the
No. This is this is untrue. They aren't bitter. They're hostile, and they're not isolated. They have lots of female friends who they actually like and want to be with. And these girls have boyfriends whenever they feel like it.
loudest voices mocking all men or all women are often the loneliest. Now, do I think
Really, more false equivalents. Who's mocking all women?
that everyone who rolls their eyes at Men's Mental Health Month is cruel or incapable of empathy? No. I think some are just reacting from personal pain, trauma, right? I get that. But mocking
Well, you're wrong. But also, you're probably lying. These women aren't traumatized. They're showing their true feelings. They're not bitter, not alone. Now, 3 minutes in, I don't know if I need to go through the rest, but let's try and hear this.
the entire conversation doesn't make you powerful, and it's not going to bring about any real change. Men
What are you talking about makes them powerful? They are showing their power. They can openly say shit like this, and these women know that men will still date them and still pay for their dinner and still marry them, still show them attention and take their abuse. And these videos don't get taken down from hate speech for hate speech, right? This is a show of power.
when grape jokes, it's dark humor. They'll say men when you joke about Men's Mental Health Month. And she does say, I don't joke about it, I just find it ironic. If your entire persona, at least online, is built on dark humor, it's just humor, right? Nothing's off limits, then you can turn around and become emotionally fragile, a snowflake, as soon as the joke isn't flattering to your gender. There has to be some consistency. Either dark humor is fair game, including jokes about men and women, or it isn't. You don't get to be emotionally detached when it's about women, but then play victim the second it's about you. When someone makes a dark humor joke about women's issues, maybe it's assault, there will always be men online saying, relax, it's just a joke. Okay, dark humor, it's allowed.
That's not a woman's issue, assault. So again, you aren't to be trusted. Assault happens to men more than women. And by talking about assault as a woman's issue, you yourself are demonizing us.
But the moment a woman makes a joke about men's issues, suddenly it's, you whore, you deserve to be raped, you deserve to be assaulted. You know what? I think you're triggered. You're offended, and that's okay. That's only human. It happens to men, it happens to women. People get offended sometimes, but how you express that matters. If your response is violent, unhinged, purely reactionary, you don't look powerful. You look unstable. You look triggered. You reinforce the very stereotypes you claim to be fighting.
Men just kill themselves and no one cares. We need to change it.
Her critique is that men tend to derail the conversation by immediately bringing up male suicide rates, as if the pain is a competition, or, oh, but men experience this too.
Yeah, well, they're not derailing, are they? They're merely expressing why it's their health, mental health is important.
And I get her point because it can come off as deflection, like a need to center the male experience.
Well, you're attacking men's mental health. Men show you how important it is, and you call it derailing. You're admitting. So you're one of the women you were talking about. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing.
No matter the topic. But I also think a lot of men, they aren't doing that to try and erase women's pain. They bring it up because they don't feel seen in their own ever, because they're not allowed to.
Oh, I see. So you're trying to spread the message that if we bring up our own issues, that's erasing your issues. You're actually supporting that lie. Thank you for admitting you're one of these women.
Go online and say, yeah, look, we are suffering. We have this mental health crisis, the loneliness epidemic, suicide rates, whatever. And then women laugh. And so then they start shouting over women.
Yeah, exactly. Women laugh because you enjoy it. Men, anyone watching this video, please share this video because I want this understanding spread. This is how women view men. And not all is bullshit. Because here's a woman who's pretending to be on our side, pretending to be neutral at least. She's not. She's one of them.
Women bringing up their own struggles even when they shouldn't. One group's trauma doesn't cancel out another's. Both these issues matter, and if we're genuinely serious about fixing anything, we have to stop weaponizing these statistics.
Lady, in order to fix men's problems, you would have to get rid of female privilege. You are not going to do that. Women would have to stop attacking men. That means you would have to own it. You're not going to do that.
Statistics just to use it in the gender war. Like we're in kindergarten again. Men are evil. All women are evil. Girls are better.
Oh, see, there's more false equivalence. This isn't a gender war. A gender war would suggest that two sides are fighting. No, these men are minding their own business, and these women are going out of their way to make these videos, spitting on us. And so you're mocking men for even fighting back.
No, boys are better. And then we get videos like this. I'm so proud of hating men, as if that's some sort of badge of honor. As if hating half the population makes you edgy or intelligent. It doesn't. Okay? It doesn't.
But it's not about that. It's a show of power and privilege. It's saying, I can mock you and get away with it in every way. There's no consequences. It's bullying.
It makes you look emotionally stunted. There's nothing empowering about dehumanizing an entire gender.
Yes, there is, if you can get away with it. Why do you think the KKK does? Or the white nationalists? If they could get away with going out in the street and beating up on minority people, who am I kidding? Minority men, and then laughing about it, that would be them celebrating their power. And you would recognize it as such. Because now you're involved. It's your gender. You want to pretend that's not what it is.
Mental health, I don't give a I'm tired of hearing all this men suffer in silence. They don't. They don't. Women suffer in silence. Men suffer.
Okay, this woman's lying, of course. Women don't suffer in silence. Here's this big mouth shooting hers off.
Suffer in violence. If a is upset or he's angry, he gonna let a woman know. He's gonna make sure she hears it. Go to therapy. Shut the
See, this is a woman. She's talking about her partner. This is what it is to have a female partner, right? Keep your pain to yourself. And notice how beautiful this woman is, and yet she has a partner. So don't give any of this crap about these women are bitter or they're lonely or any of that horseshit. Men take what they can get, and they take the abuse that comes with it.
Men suffer in violence. Okay, well, this is obviously coming from someone who has many bad experiences, probably, and has
No, she doesn't. She's just hostile to men like you are.
seen men react in violent ways. Keep in mind, raising awareness and encouraging men to get help instead of hurting themselves or someone else doing something illegal, that's a good message.
Men can't get any help, though. How men? Look, a lot of men's problems are unemployment. How is going to therapy going to correct that? Is the therapist going to get the man a job? Like so many of the men's issues, like draft, right? Men getting drafted. How is therapy going to help that?
That's gonna help both men and women. So I don't know how you could be against that, really. A lot of men do suffer in silence and then unalive themselves, but for the men that don't,
Kill themselves. Just say it. Kill themselves. Right. And you didn't say that about women because that's they don't suffer that. Right. So men's mental health is important. But the first thing men have to do is recognize who's doing the harm. This young lady is part of it.
and for the men who think it's okay to hurt someone else because they're struggling, there should be awareness about how no, actually, that's not okay. And also recognition of one group's suffering is not a threat to your own. If you truly care about mental health, you should want.
You girls aren't threatened, though, by that. You're simply being hostile. I have to say that over and over again.
Both conversations to be taken seriously because the well-being of women and the well-being of men, they are deeply interconnected. When one group is suffering, it's going to inevitably affect the other. But instead of ignoring,
Well, that just goes to show you how much women hate men. Even if it hurts them somehow, they're still willing to do it. It's the old scorpion and frog fable, right? Men are the frogs. Women are the scorpions. They say, look, we both want to get across this river, right? You float, if I can get on your back, I won't sting you. And the frog, being a man, agrees, and the woman, being a scorpion, stings him anyway. And the frog says, why'd you do that? Now we're both going to drown. Scorpion says, sorry, I'm just a scorpion. It's in my nature, right?
acknowledging that, right? People online regress to this playground logic. All women are evil. All
No, no, no. It's not playground. It's more the bloody false equivalence. Men fighting back at people who insult them is not playground. It's showing self-respect. So what you're saying is men don't show any self-respect. Just take it. You got to see what these people are actually saying. You got to read between the lines. That's what's going on with this woman. She's pretending to be on our side.
men are evil. It's immature. Your bad experience with one person or two people or whatever, your dating history, a lot of people bring that up. None of that justifies generalizing an entire gender. Hello.
Sorry, I disagree. I disagree. You can generalize. There are general behaviors from both genders. And so what's generally happening, you're showing it, is that women despise men for no good reason. And I'm willing to say the truth. I'm not jumping behind that don't generalize bullshit. You're doing this to defend your own gender for the things it does, for the bad things it does.
Hello. Everyone is different.
For some reason, our society loves to paint this image that it's men versus women, and that all men are bad, and that women are this, that, and the other, and it's like, and at a certain point, we literally just have to sit back and look at these absolute
unemployed incels.
Thanks, dude. See, this guy, he's willing to take it. He's a man of no self-regard, no self-respect, but he's also male hostile. right? So if you're insulted as a man, you're just supposed to take it because you're a second-class citizen and you're an incel, right? If you defend yourself.
Who take what's
Supposed to be an awareness month and then do shit like this.
The truth is that people in general are struggling right now, especially with social media, tech-driven isolation.
Men are. It's about us. That's why you're talking about men's mental health. It's not people. It's not gender neutral.
That has created a generation that's overstimulated, that's disconnected, and while both men and women are affected,
What are you talking about? Women's disgust of men, contempt of us, has nothing to do with the internet or what's going on. You've always had it, and it's being revealed now.
men often experience that differently. They tend to have weaker social support systems, and there is still a strong stigma around vulnerability, especially in
Yeah, because you gals don't like us. Right. You're the ones who give the signals. You showed a bunch of women saying so. You're having mental issues? Shut up. I don't want to hear it.
male friend groups. As a result of that, many men end up suffering in silence until frustration spills out, often anonymously online, often in comments under a woman criticizing something like Men's Mental Health Month, right? So reaching out,
Not criticizing, spitting on it. What is there to criticize? Men have mental issues. Here's my critique of that. See, wolf in sheep's clothing, guys.
correctly, that isn't weak. You don't have to go to therapy. I know that's not everybody's thing, but talk to somebody, a parent, a friend, but someone, because bottling it up until it turns into resentment doesn't.
Who would men talk to? These women, you want to pretend they're single, but they're not. They probably have wives. Men, all kinds of married men suffer in silence. Their wives don't want to hear it. Men's loved ones, their close ones, don't want to hear it. So who would men talk to? That's why they do it online, lady. Men's isolation doesn't come from not being part of a family or not having a girlfriend or wife. Men are alone in a crowd.
Doesn't make you strong. It guarantees more pain down the line. Women, on the other hand, are socially encouraged to talk about their emotions. It's normalized. You want to vent to your friends, that's fine. You share the same weight, and that helps. That kind of support system.
Yeah, because people like women. Women like women and men like women. That's right. So that's why men's mental health is important, but will also never get taken care of until men gain some kind of awareness of what's going on.
Genuinely reduces emotional pressure, okay? So it's something I believe that men need more of, not in a forced or performative way, but in a real, organic way that looks different for men. Our challenges often look different. Men still
Not different. We want the same thing as you. We want to be able to open up our pain, and we can't. The women tell us they hate us. They don't want to hear our vulnerability. You want us to suffer.
face enormous pressure to provide, to never show weakness, right? Especially if you're more of like a traditional guy. So a job loss or
It has nothing to do with being traditional guy. Your gender is the one who places the pressure. So don't talk about traditional men. You have to change your behavior.
health issue doesn't just hit their finances, it can devastate their entire identity. If they have been conditioned to equate worth with productivity, they'll spiral when that's compromised, right? But women often will experience higher rates.
There you go. So you'd have to stop being hypergamous. Women dump their husbands when they lose their jobs. I mean, it's your fault. That's a fact. That's a bloody fact. You would have to change yourselves. Now, are you going to change? No, I have zero trust in that. Men have to change. In other words, men have to look at you honestly, you being female,
rates of assault.
and say to ourselves, chasing after you, this is what we're going to get. Men have to be honest with themselves. And don't go rope yourself when you betray us.
For example, and face different, biological challenges that affect mental health. So we're talking about something like PMS or PMDD in more extreme cases, how pregnant.
Won't even bother. Don't even bother. Let's see. I'll skim ahead. I thought there was going to be a short video, but it's awfully long to get through. Let's see. I'm going to get past that. Just a moment. Okay, she's going to talk about pornography addiction, which means she is on their side, the women's side. She is against us. Anyone who talks about pornography addiction, which doesn't really exist, is a man hater. Let's hear this.
Especially for men, though, because things like pornography, will say, gaming, social media addiction, these things, they provide quick dopamine spikes that mimic intimacy or achievement without requiring any real emotional investment, right? And for a lot of men, especially younger ones, that
Well, supposedly without the danger, emotional investment. Can you imagine?
kind of digital escape becomes their only outlet. So why would they risk the possibility of rejection or vulnerability when you can be safe right behind a screen? Now, this is a trap both men and women fall into, but for men,
See, she's doing it again. False equivalence.
it's often more dangerous. Why? Because men are more visually wired, we'll say, so things
No, we're not. No, we're not. You're lying.
like pornography, especially in the extreme unlimited forms available online today.
There you go. See, it's bad. Men are into porn. Men have always been in the porn. Always. Playboy came way before the internet, and it flew off the racks. It's just more visual now. Like it's more open that men have always done it. You women do it too. And you do it just as much.
They pull men into addiction. It creates warped expectations. It is
There you go. Men aren't addicted to porn. We simply like it. And of course, she does it's a rabbit hole. If men consume porn, we'll get dangerous, right? Or get into these fetishes. So this woman's anti-male. She's just as anti-male as the women openly bashing mental health month for men.
a massive contributing factor to the male loneliness epidemic, to the female loneliness epidemic.
So you guys don't suffer an epidemic. Any woman who's alone wants it that way. You're lying again. And men looking at porn does not contribute to it. You're trying to shuffle your behavior onto something else, men's behavior especially, right? It's more victim blaming.
To the rising depression rates. But when your main source of intimacy is something you can click, skip, control, real relationships start to
Big control, right? See how this woman is smearing us? It's not that women reject men. It's just men want control, right? We're not partners, which, by the way, Petrov, is projection on your part. You women want control over us. Don't project your behavior onto us.
feel inconvenient. They start to feel confusing or not worth the effort. And we have
Yeah, enough of this. This woman, she's a part of the controlled opposition. She's 100% against us. This is one long gaslighting video. And I'm calling you out, Misha Petrov. And of course, she's got 500,000 subs. YouTube promotes this kind of stuff. YouTube promotes its controlled opposition. I am not fooled by you. And frankly, I find you disgusting, Petrov. You disgust me.